Who wants to buy a piece of junk? Who wants to buy something that doesn't work? Who wants to buy something that doesn't make money? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to tell you how to build a business that people actually want to buy. Everyone wants a 7-figure exit, but guess what? I'm going to tell you about it. Everyone wants to sell a business. Everyone wants a big chunk of cash. People want to be rewarded fairly for their baby, for their business that they've spent years and years growing. Everyone wants that. Stephen Butler, fucking witch doctor. Everyone wants that. I sold a business, I got 7 figures, and now I have a nice house and a nice car. Everyone wants that, right? But it's interesting because the more and more people I speak to and consult on their businesses, and we x-ray what they're doing and how they're doing, and then their personal life and how they're going to get there, and even just when people book in one-off consultation calls with me, no one ever says, I'm setting this up to sell. It's very rare that I hear that from people. They might be doing it without thinking. They might be in the process of doing that again, but without realizing that they can do it better, or that they maybe should do it, even if they don't want to sell. Now, I'm not telling you have to build something to sell it. No, of course not. But I'm saying you should always build something that has saleability, because if you build a business that hasn't got a saleable value, then look, it can give you cash flow for 10, 20, 30 years, and you're laughing and you're making money and it's all good. However, what if your life situation changes? What if you want to leave the country? Like, fucking hell, I wish I could do. What if tax regulations change every year? What if you get it, right? What if your competition keeps buying your competition and your only competition is a massive company and you can't beat them on price and you're slowly getting worn down, but they make you an offer? There's situations where you might need to sell, or you really want to sell because you kind of have to, or you feel you have to. But alternatively, you may get to a point where you say, I've done this industry for 10, 15 years. I'm okay, I've done what I need to do. I've built what I need to build. I've taken from this what I need to take from it. So I'm gonna do something else. And you're in business to do what you want to do. You're not in business to have a full-time job, ideally. And you're not in business to, keep going until it runs into the ground, or until you're not interested in it, but, I owe it to the... No. There's many times where myself. So how do you make a business that could sell? Now, if you listen to my 7 things I look for in a business podcast I did a few weeks ago, you'll actually see, and that kind of goes with this podcast, because that's showing you what I'm looking for as a buyer, right? So it shows you what you should be doing as a seller. But I'll talk more about from the perspective of us as business owners. The first thing that people always forget is SOPs, right? Standard operating procedures, or guidelines, or like a Bible of how to run the business, or what the business is, or how it operates, or flow charts of customer to money to delivery to the... One thing that businesses don't have is the idiot's guide to run this business. Now you might think, it's just me, we're turning over a couple $100,000. Yeah, might hire someone and have everything written down. What if you get ill and someone needs to run it for you in the interim? What if you do then hire someone? What if it's always good to have that guide. And I've not done this before in businesses, but I do it now, because you can look back every month, every year as you grow and get bigger, and you can say, we used to do that. Should we still do that, or should we change that? What should our current approach be? So it allows you to learn and evolve from it. But also sometimes you look back and think, why are we doing that? We used to win business by door knocking, for example. That's how I got my first ever client. Now we don't do it, and we're kind of struggling. So why have we moved away from that thing that got us our first customer? So it's quite useful in that sense, but also you probably will have staff of some kind, especially if you're going to be a real entrepreneur business owner and not be in the business. So therefore, you can train them, you can sit down with them, but what really helps is having that idiot's guide, having videos on screen explaining things if there's spreadsheets or processes. This is all part of the guide. Do this from the start. Now with this, you'll also then be, and this is the second thing, be systemizing and having processes in place. Because you might make this document and say, well, hold on, some place is in order. I have to type this in. I have to do that. No. 10 steps later, they get their package. It's like, hold on a minute. There's got to be a Zapier integration. There's got to be Shopify. There's got to be something. And then you then change it and fix it and build processes. So almost by creating this idiot's guide, you're the idiot. You then learn from it and think, no, that's silly. When someone joins in, they might say, yeah, that doesn't work. I can do something better. And you evolve it and develop it. So it's a living, breathing document. It's a shared Google Doc, you know, or you keep making versions of it so you can see the past ones. But having things systemized and process-led is so important. Now, someone might come in and take over that process and system for you, an ops manager or whatever. But you need to know how that looks, what that looks like. These documents are invaluable when you're training people. You don't want to keep having one-on-ones with them. You want to have this whole, you know, package of this is the business. Refer to this first and then come and speak to me. I'm always here for you to speak to, but please refer to this thing. Secondly, you know, a business that has saleable. Now this, in my notes, I wrote must run without the owner. That's not entirely true, because I will buy a business that runs, you know, only runs with the owner in place, because I can replace that at a price. But I think really to be really sellable and to start opening doors, it has to run without you, the owner. It has to have a managing director, a CEO, a C-suite, management, whatever it is. And in your business, you might say, don't need all that, just need like 4 supervisors. And then I check in every now and then. Cool. Whatever works in your industry. And that's something I cover on my mentoring course, how to build this specifically for your industry and also for what buyers are looking for. It's something to think about early. Now, look, most people are not going to be hiring staff early unless you get a big funding round from a VC and you're a tech company, and then, you know, most people aren't. But you really need to look at, and also for your own life, there's always things you can do in the business. So the business running without you is really important, but that doesn't mean you then have to be hands off. If you're like, no, I want to keep working, I love it, focus on sales, focus on bringing new business in, doing tenders, doing trade shows, whatever works. Social media. You don't have to not be sort of, you know, working on the business, but you also shouldn't be, I'm not cleaning any sites in my cleaning business. Never will, never have. I'm an owner operator. There's a difference. And so in your business, if you're a mechanic, are you going to be on the tools forever? Are you going to actually become an owner and an operator at some point? You know, that choice is totally yours, but most people are definitely looking for businesses that will run without an owner. Do you have multiple risk points managed? If your goods come from China and the shipping rates and insurances are just going crazy and they keep doing that, do you have a contingency in place? If your product is based on ammonia, you know, do you have a product in place when the pedophiles cause, you know, certain things to be blocked and you can't get, you know, ammonia and nitrogen out of certain countries? Is that going to affect your product? If you're a farmer, flipping heck it is. And if you're as dependent on other countries for food as the UK is, and this place being running to the ground, then what are you going to do? What's your contingency? You know, and you might think, it's fine, we'll just charge customers more. Sorry? Customers are suddenly going to say, oh, it's March, and for some reason my t-shirts are now coming in at 30% more. But then in April they'll go down. Yeah, it's not going to work. Like Trump having these tariffs and passing them on to business. Like, what? Yeah. Not really working, is it? So you really need to think about, like, do you have multiple risk points managed? It could also be we only have 5 large customers. We make 2 million a year revenue, 5 customers. Those are risk points. How are they managed? What contracts? What's the notice period? What happens if they... You get what I'm kind of saying? Like, how are these risk points managed? And this also goes back to your systems, your processes, you know, having that document, having that guide. You know, if these risk points are not managed, a buyer's going to come in, due diligence stage, look at this, talk to you and be thinking, nah, this is risky. And no, they might still make you an offer, but it'll be less because the risk isn't managed. Now, if it is, they can't say anything. You can say, well, look, if this happens, if X, then Y. If Y, then X. Is it? You know, you're protected. There's obviously certain things that you can never protect from and you never will, but as much as you can, you should, because you never know what's going to happen. Who's going to start an illegal war? What country is going to suddenly have their economy implode? You know, you just don't know. You don't know what competitors are going to set up either. You know, so, and this is another point. You know, do you have a USP? I mean, you don't have to have one. There's like 5, 6 different bottled waters. They taste the same. Volvic tastes dead. The best bottled water is Saka, Turkish water you get from Bossman's chicken shop. I don't know if they're still going, but I remember used to getting them in these flimsy bottles. They tasted so good. The rest of them just, ugh, yuck. Volvic especially, I don't know what it is. And even like smart water, it's just literally shitty water from pipes just filtered, isn't it? Like, okay, yet that attracts the same... They're doing the same thing, yet they still make money and the airports are full of smart water. You can't get anything else. So, do you have a USP, or do you have something that will give you a niche or help you stand out, or, you know, put you in good stead if new competitors do come up, or, you know, if the market takes a different direction? You know what I mean? Like, do you have something that helps you stand out? It could be brand. You could sell the same shit as everyone else in your sector. You could be worse. If your brand is good, You ever seen a Bugatti Veyron or Bugatti Chiron, I think, key? Go and have a look and see what car they share keys with. It's pathetic at that price. Like, it's absolutely disgusting that you do that. I mean, same with Lamborghinis, having the same as Audi keys, but ridiculous. They get away with it, you know. Ferrari, their tech never works. Like, their interior, they get away with it. They got a good brand, you know, and a nice engine. You have a diversity in clients and contracts. Is your income all B2B? Is it B2C? Within that, is it all from the equestrian industry? Is it all from the west of England? Is it, how concentrated are your clients and your contracts and your income? Is it all from one country? Is it all from one city? You know, I'm not saying that a buyer is going to need you to be spread all over the UK. Niche it's often better, you know, but is there enough diversity in there that those risk points are managed and it feels safe for someone buying it? And are you broad or are you niche? You know, which one are you? Are you broad in most aspects and you have a niche arm? Are you niche in most and you have a broad arm? What is it? I think it's important to know where you are and to be, I would say, to be more heavily balanced on one side. I think doing both, you know, being 50-50, I think it's great when you own the business. However, buyers, I mean, look, it's case by case, right? It really is case by case. Buyers' criteria is changing all the time. And a buyer could just be like us, one of us, so like, you know, but I just think sometimes people get wary when there's not enough of a focus on like, what are you doing? Who are you? Does your business have moats around it? It kind of goes back to the USP, but things that are protective, things that are unique to you, that only you offer, or that you offer in a different way, in a better way. I mean, how many bakeries make cinnamon buns? How many bakeries in Copenhagen make, what was I having? It was cinnamon buns, wasn't it? Copenhagen, it's fucking delicious. How many do it, but how many are like known and appear on every single TikTok? How many restaurants make chips? How many restaurants make Arabic kebabs? These are the best Arabic kebabs. Al Inam in Acton. Oh my god, Habibi. You need to go to this place, yeah? Service, incredible. Food, incredible. Consistent every single time. Al Inam. And next to it, Your Sweets, I think it's called, or My Sweets, the best baklava. Oh, I'm going this week. But I'm cutting, so I can't eat the baklava. What a pain. Have you got moats around your business? Do you deliver consistently? You know, look at businesses out there that you're impressed by. Nando's, generally really consistent, same quality, same flavor, give or take. If something's wrong, you get free shit straight away, no questions asked. That's their policy. Do you have moats around your business, like the business? So think about businesses you like in your sector or out of your sector. List, research, what do they do really well? What do they do badly? What are they known for? What can you implement in your business that is going to protect it? Because when I'm buying a business, I'm thinking, is this protected? Am I going to buy it and it's going to flop in 6 months? Could someone literally start it up tomorrow and do better? Like what? And this is a good question. What is stopping someone from starting a business in your sector tomorrow and getting to the same stage? Because my question to sellers is, so it's been 3 years, you're turning over 100 grand. I've got to 100 grand from like one client in like 6 months. And you want 40 grand for your business. I could spend half of that. I could hire a salesperson and I could hire a bid writer, let's say for the full amount for 40 grand. And I could win organic contracts of 100 grand easily in 12 months. Yeah, I can, because I know what I'm doing. If you're starting out, maybe different, but I can do that. Mr. Seller, why am I going to give you 40 grand for a risk? They're both risks. And often buying it isn't necessarily more of a risk because it's already existing, but you don't know of different things. And yeah, it's pros and cons. My point is, and I always say in general, what else could I be doing? And then the question to sellers is, could I mimic this myself for less money? And because I've done it before by hiring a salesperson, I know what equals what. So people, that is my quick guide to how to build a business that someone wants to buy. If you haven't left your review, please stop driving or whatever you're doing. Literally go to TED Talks, go at the top, and it says stars. Just click it. It's 2 clicks. Yeah, the user interface is 2 clicks. It's easy. I really, really appreciate it. Also, once the cleaning business reaches 1.2, 1.5 in the next, basically this year, I'm going to switch. I was going to get into automotive business, but yeah, the UK is just killing my motivation. So I'm either going to set a business in a different country, or I'm going to, because I've made some really good picks without much effort and thinking in stocks, like talking very nice returns. I really want to get back into that because I did it a long time ago and now I have more cash to play with. So I'm really interested in books, resources, podcasts to listen to, more not trading like stocks. So we're talking year plus kind of timelines. Really keen to hear your opinion. So any thoughts, send me a DM on Instagram. And in the meantime, whilst you're leaving a review, I thank you for leaving that review. And if you're on YouTube, then hit like, hit subscribe, share with your friends, share with your enemies, you know, because they won't even do the thing and you will. Bye.